This is your current WordPress dashboard, and this is how it will look in a WordPress version 7.1. In this video, I'm going to show you what are the other bigger changes that will come in a later WordPress versions. So let's jump in and let's see how you can test it by yourself. First, go to the plugins and click Add Plugin. Search for a Gutenberg. This plugin here. Now pay attention that install this plugin only if you want to test new features. If you're using it on the live site, then I would suggest you to deactivate it. So let's install and activate it, and let's see what happens now. But before I continue with the video, here's a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, that is Webabooking. What is Webabooking? Well, if you need a booking system on WordPress, you probably noticed that most plugins nickel and dime you. You buy the base plugin, then you pay extra for payments, extra for SMS notifications, and so on. Weba takes a different approach. One license, every feature included. Every feature included. So, what do you actually get? Both hourly and daily booking. So whether you're running a salon, a rental or a retreat, it's got you covered without needing two separate plugins. You'll get unlimited services and multiple calendars. You'll get online payments via Stripe, PayPal or WooCommerce. You'll get email and SMS reminders, custom form fields and coupon support all in one place. One thing I really like about Webabooking is the custom pricing rules. You can charge different rates based on the time of day, day of week, or how far in advance someone books. It's useful if you would like to fill slots or charge more during peak hours. You also get Google Calendar and Outlook Calendar synchronization and deposit payments to reduce no-shows. If you offer consultations, there is a Zoom integration available for online appointments. The part I appreciate is that there is no premium tier ladder to climb. It's all there from day one. Link is in the description, so check it out and decide for yourself. After installation, you'll see there is a Gutenberg menu down below here. Go to the experiments, and here you can activate some experimental stuff. I'm not gonna go through all we have here. I'm gonna show you some most interesting ones. First, media editor. Activate media editor root and media upload modal, and if you go to the media library, you'll see nothing has been changed here. If you add media file, nothing changed here. But if I go to the pages, I'm gonna open up my test page. Let's add an image block, and now when I open up a media library, you'll see it looks different than it was before. Just as a comparison, this is the old version and this is the new version. You can change between the grid and table layouts. You can filter your images, and under the settings you can also sort them by title, order, change the density, items per page, and select some properties to be displayed, for example file size here and alternative text, and you can also activate caption, file name, and so on. But as you see, the more information you activate, the more cramped it becomes, so I'm gonna disable some of those here. Now if I would like to upload something, then I'm gonna select my image. It's here. When I select it and add it, then it will be added to the page. So this is the new media upload modal. Next, let's activate guidelines, this one here. What are the guidelines? If you go to the settings and guidelines, you'll see that you can describe your site purpose, goals, primary and audience, set your writing standards for tone, voice, style and formatting, outline image style, create tailored guidelines for specific block types, and so on. Now I'm not sure what all this actually does. According to the official post, it's a single place in WordPress to define the content standards that shape how your site content is written, edited, and managed. Well, if I read it through, I don't get it. Why is this important? Why is it useful, and who is it for? So maybe it gets a bit clearer in the future, but currently I don't get it. Next one is content types. When you activate it, you'll see that under the settings there is a content types menu. When we open it up, it allows us to create new post types. What are the post types? We have post, pages, products. All those are different post types. Maybe I would like to create a new post type called portfolio. Then just fill the fields. I'm not going to add any taxonomies just yet. I'm going to create them later and associate with this post type. So this post type supports title, editor, featured image, revisions, custom fields, and nothing else. It's public. It's not hierarchical. That is, it acts as a blog post. It has archive, shows in REST API that is uses Gutenberg, and it's active. If needed, you can define your labels here. I'm not going to do that. Therefore, let's create the post type. And now when I refresh, you'll see this is my portfolio post type I just created. I can also add taxonomies. Therefore, let's select taxonomies, add categories. Singular name is category. Taxonomy key is portfolio category, and I can associate it with my portfolio post type, but I can also add it to anywhere else. As you see, you can create a taxonomy and you can associate with any already created post types you have here. Once again, visibility, show admin column, labels, and under the advanced, let's add an option to sort the item. And now when I scroll up, I can create it, and when I refresh, you'll see that under the portfolio I have categories. I can add the post. It looks like any WordPress post I have here. So these are the content types. Next, when you activate new dashboard experience, you'll see that there is a dashboard beta up here, and this is what you have currently here. You can customize it, change the layout settings, whether it's standard grid or masonry, row height small, medium or large. Let's set it to medium. You can drag and make the widget smaller. You can drag and drop them here or there, and you can add widgets, but at the moment it's not as useful as it could be because you can only add default WordPress widgets and nothing else. It would be great if we could drag and drop some Gutenberg blocks here, for example, and so on. If you would like to delete something, then just delete. Let's drag this up here. Well, doesn't work very well for some reason, but since it's beta, I can understand that. Well, for me, it's not a very useful feature because there is no point for me to add some random widgets here. I would like to create my own dashboard, for example, like I have created here. If you would like to know how to create a dashboard like this and add your own shortcuts here, then I have made a separate video about it. I'm gonna put a link to this video in the video description. But now back to the Gutenberg itself. So what else do we have here? We have data views. Let's activate those, and I'm gonna show you what will it do. When I select my block at the moment, then you'll see this is the current view. Heading type, typography options, font size, background, and so on. Now, since I have activated this experiment, I'm gonna reload the page. And now when I click, you'll see there's a difference. For example, this is some content input. Under the settings cog, there is nothing, some advanced options, and here are the styling options. So basically, I don't see the reason why this one is better than the old one. And that's basically it. So this is what you will have later this year when the new WordPress will be released. But the only thing I like here is the option to create content types, and the new media modal looks also nice. Other than that, nothing noteworthy. Now, as I said, I have made a separate video about how to create a dashboard like this here. It's really easy. Just create a page with a Gutenberg, select it as your default dashboard page. You can add your own links and done. So this video is on the screen right now. Be sure to take a look at it next. In the meantime, take care.